Hi, Steve and Caleb here with Brownells, and today we're going to look at some more spare parts you should have on hand for certain firearms. And today we've got the Remington 870 and the Mossberg 500. So let's look at the Mossberg first.
Yeah, sounds good. So as far as replacement parts go, you should have on hand. The only parts that are really going to wear on this is the magazine spring, maybe the ejector, and hammer spring and stuff like that. Usually don't wear out, but it's not a bad idea to have them on hand. As far as magazine springs go, for each one of these firearms, it's pretty much the same rule as any other magazine spring, and we've covered that
And
previously.
if you've got a plastic follower, that's definitely going to wear out. So if you got one of the orange followers or one of the mini plastic followers that are out there now, you should have a spare on hand because they just smooth wear out.
Yeah, absolutely. And changing out the follower and spring on the Mossberg can be a bit tricky and requires some special tools because you actually have to remove the magazine tube.
Right.
The Remington, not so much. You just unscrew it from the front and you're good to go.
Easy.
Yeah, and the plus side on the actual Mossberg is going to be the ejector is easy to change because it's simply just held in by a screw.
Right, so you can do that at home.
You can.
The Remington is riveted in, so you probably don't want to try that at home unless you're really good at, well, riveting.
And again, you can have an extra one on hand just in case, for whatever reason, they're unavailable to your gunsmith at the time.
Now, if you do a lot of hunting, you know, duck hunting, geese hunting, whatever, and you pound a lot of rounds through your gun, you know, you might not want to wait for your gunsmith to get these parts in. You might need to go out the next day. So if you've got the spare in hand, you can hand him the gun and the spare part. You can be back in business pretty quick.
Yeah, and another good replacement upgrade for the Mossberg is the actual trigger guard itself. Most of the 500 ones are going to be plastic. You can throw a 590 metal one in there. They are a bit pricey, but it's a good upgrade. And if you do that, you can actually keep the plastic one as a spare.
Right.
And then really the last part is only going to be the safety.
And that one's had its replaced already.
Yeah, and so yeah, this is the upgraded one, and we have the other one to keep on hand as a spare.
Mossberg offers their button in plastic or in aluminum. Is it an aluminum or steel one? It's a metal one anyway that never breaks.
Yeah, and I know the one that we offer is actually an aluminum one, and it's a good quality replacement. Another thing I forgot to mention is the front sight bead. Those can fall out. Your Mossberg ones are a 540 thread, which is a little bit less common than some of the others. Remington's going to be a 648 if they're not pressed in. Some of them are pressed in.
Right.
And those are pretty easy to find as well. So you can have another one on hand, or you can upgrade them to a fiber optic or something like that as well. So what about the 870, Steve?
The 870 is pretty robust. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. They're working fine. I'd have a spare set of pins, the front and back pin that holds the trigger group in. They get lost. They don't get broken. They never break. Magazine spring, as you said, these have plastic followers a lot of times. We've already gone through that. Internally, there isn't a heck of a lot to go wrong. The trigger group is self-contained. You can take it out and clean it really easily without having to disassemble it or lose any parts. It's just a great design. I've rarely broken a part on mine. I've lost more parts than I've broken, so I can't think of any other spares other than what we already covered.
Yeah, no, not at all. I have two 870s. I got my first one when I was 9 years old and never replaced a part on it.
Yeah.
So it's a robust gun.
And the truth is, you know, Mossbergs don't break a lot of parts either, but that safety button will put you out of business if it goes.
Yeah.
So if you've got the plastic safety button, have something on hand for that.
Yeah, and the Mossberg, I had one I'd carried as a spare in Afghanistan in the turret of my truck next to my 50 cal, and it sat there for a year, and it got bumped around and thrown around, and it's never had to replace any parts on it. But yeah, like you said, the pin as well that you mentioned on the Remington, the trigger group pin. Unlike the Remington, you only have one instead of two. And that's a good part to have on hand just in case.
Oh, they can roll off your work surface and just disappear.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're at the range or something.
Yeah, and it's not a matter of breaking, it's more just a matter of getting lost.
Yeah.
So.
Now, if there's any parts you can think of that you've lost or broken over the years for either of these two guns, let us know. We'd like to hear from you. This list is not 100% inclusive, so we might have missed something. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.